Old-fashioned. This is the cocktail that most people point to when they talk about the beginning of modern mixed drinks. It started in the early 1800s as a simple combination of whiskey, sugar, water, and bitters. Over time, the water turned into ice, and the sugar became a muddled sugar cube. What makes it distinct is the balance between the strength of the spirit and the softness of the sugar and bitters. Bartenders still judge each other on how well they make one. Martini. The martini carries more cultural weight than almost any other drink. Gin and dry vermouth, stirred or shaken, with an olive or a twist. The ratio has shifted over the decades. In the 1950s, it was often equal parts gin and vermouth. By the 1990s, some bartenders were barely waving the vermouth bottle over the glass. The martini matters because it became a symbol of elegance and control, even though the recipe itself is just 2 ingredients. Margarita. This drink sits at the center of tequila culture outside Mexico. It blends tequila, lime juice, and orange liqueur, usually with a salted rim. The salt does more than add flavor. It softens the sharpness of the lime and tequila, making the drink feel smoother than it is. There are competing origin stories, most of them from the 1930s and 1940s in Mexico or along the border. What is clear is that it spread quickly because the ingredients are easy to find and the taste is immediately appealing. Daiquiri. Ernest Hemingway helped make this Cuban drink famous, though the classic version is simpler than the frozen blends sold at beach bars today. White rum, fresh lime juice, and sugar. That is the original. It was supposedly invented by an American mining engineer in Cuba around 1898. The drink works because the lime cuts through the rum, and the sugar holds the two together without making it heavy. Negroni. This one is built on equal parts gin, Campari, and sweet vermouth. It was created in Florence in 1919 when a count named Camillo Negroni asked his bartender to strengthen his Americano by replacing the soda water with gin. Campari gives the drink its bitter, bright red color and its herbal edge. The Negroni has become a test of taste for modern drinkers. People often say they did not like it the first time, then could not stop ordering it. Mojito. This is Cuba's most famous export in a glass. White rum, lime, sugar, mint, and soda water. The mint is not just a garnish. It is muddled gently to release oils without tearing the leaves, which would make the drink bitter. The mojito became globally popular in the early 2000s, partly through pop culture, but its roots go back to the 1500s when a similar drink was made with aguardiente, a crude predecessor to rum. Whiskey sour. This drink belongs to a whole family of sours, but the whiskey version is the most enduring. Whiskey, lemon juice, and sugar. Some bartenders add egg white for texture, turning it into a Boston sour. The sour formula is one of the oldest in cocktail history because it simply works. The acid brightens the spirit, and the sugar keeps it from being too sharp. It was already popular by the 1860s and has never really left. Manhattan. This is one of the drinks that defined American cocktail culture before Prohibition. Rye whiskey, sweet vermouth, and bitters, usually with a cherry. It was supposedly invented at the Manhattan Club in New York in the 1870s. The vermouth softens the whiskey and adds layers of spice and wine flavor. It is often seen as the whiskey drinker's answer to the martini, richer and warmer where the martini is dry and crisp. Moscow Mule. Vodka, ginger beer, and lime, served in a copper mug. The mug is not just for show. Copper conducts temperature well, so the drink stays cold longer. The cocktail was created in 1941 in Los Angeles as a way to sell more vodka and more ginger beer at the same time. It worked. The sharp ginger and clean vodka make it refreshing, and the lime adds just enough acidity to keep it balanced. Bloody Mary. This is the cocktail people reach for at brunch, and it is one of the few drinks built around tomato juice. Vodka, tomato juice, lemon, Worcestershire sauce, hot sauce, and spices. The exact recipe varies widely. Some versions are mild and savory, others are aggressively spicy. It was first mixed in Paris in the 1920s by a bartender named Fernand Petiot, though the name and the full recipe evolved later. The drink matters because it functions almost like a meal, heavy and restorative. Espresso Martini. Despite the name, this is not a true martini. It contains vodka, espresso, coffee liqueur, and sugar. It was created in London in 1983 by a bartender named Dick Bradsell, who made it for a customer who asked for something that would wake her up and then mess her up. The foam on top comes from the espresso oils and a hard shake. It has become one of the most ordered cocktails in the world, especially after dinner. Piña Colada. This is the tropical drink that everyone recognizes. Rum, coconut cream, and pineapple juice, blended with ice. It was declared the national drink of Puerto Rico in 1978, though 2 bartenders on the island both claim to have invented it in the 1950s. The drink is sweet and rich, almost a dessert. It became so closely tied to vacation culture that ordering one signals a certain kind of escape. Aperol Spritz. This drink has taken over summer afternoons in the last decade, though it has been popular in northern Italy since the 1950s. Aperol, Prosecco, and soda water, usually with an orange slice. It is low in alcohol compared to most cocktails, which is part of the appeal. The bitter orange flavor is light and refreshing. In Italy, it is often drunk before dinner as an aperitivo, meant to open the appetite rather than satisfy it. Sidecar. This is one of the classic brandy cocktails that has fallen in and out of fashion. Brandy, orange liqueur, and lemon juice, with a sugar rim on the glass. It was created in Paris or London around World War I, depending on which story you believe. The sugar rim is optional but traditional. The drink is tart and warming, and it shows how well brandy works with citrus when the balance is right. Gimlet. Gin and lime juice, originally made with Rose's lime cordial because fresh limes did not survive long sea voyages. British sailors drank it to prevent scurvy, and the cocktail grew from that practical beginning. The modern version usually uses fresh lime juice and simple syrup. It is clean, sharp, and one of the simplest ways to appreciate gin without anything else getting in the way. Paloma. This is what people in Mexico actually drink more often than the Margarita. Tequila and grapefruit soda, usually with a squeeze of lime and a salted rim. Some versions use fresh grapefruit juice and soda water instead. It is lighter than a Margarita, less sweet, and more refreshing in hot weather. The grapefruit and tequila have a natural affinity that is less obvious than lime and tequila, but just as effective. French 75. This drink combines gin, lemon juice, sugar, and champagne. It was named after a French field gun used in World War I, supposedly because the kick of the drink felt like the recoil of the weapon. The champagne adds effervescence and elegance, lifting the gin and lemon into something celebratory. It is often served at weddings and parties, though it works just as well on a quiet evening. Boulevardier. This is essentially a Negroni made with whiskey instead of gin. Bourbon or rye, Campari, and sweet vermouth. It was created by an American writer in Paris in the 1920s. The whiskey makes it richer and slightly sweeter than the Negroni, with less of the botanical sharpness that gin brings. It has become a favorite for people who want the structure of a Negroni but prefer the depth of brown spirits. Pisco Sour. This is the national drink of both Peru and Chile, though the two countries argue over the details. Pisco, a grape brandy, is mixed with lime juice, sugar, egg white, and bitters. The egg white creates a thick, creamy foam on top. The bitters are dotted across the surface in a decorative pattern. It is tart and smooth at the same time, and it represents a whole category of South American cocktails that most of the world only discovered recently. Tom Collins. This is a tall, fizzy drink built on gin, lemon juice, sugar, and soda water. It belongs to the same family as the fizz, but it is served in a larger glass with more soda. The name comes from a practical joke that spread in New York in the 1870s, where people would tell someone that a man named Tom Collins was speaking badly about them, sending them on a wild chase. The drink outlasted the prank. It is simple, refreshing, and easy to drink quickly, which is both its strength and its danger.